community. Now we're still looking there at the hurricane as it continues to move off toward the north and east, and as it does, some of those gustier winds are going to be out there. Those are the latest particulars as we're starting to get now 1 hour updates as far as the hurricane is concerned. At noon, winds still 115. It is still a Category 3 hurricane, and it's moving off to the north at 13 miles per hour. I think we're going to try to join meteorologist Daniel Phillips while we wait on LCG to kind of give us some of the updates and the bullet points on what's happening with Delta right now. Daniel?
Yeah, guys, thanks. So kind of roll through what we're going to start seeing now is we are going to start seeing some hourly updates. We've got the noon update out there currently. This is still on track to kind of make landfall out over through southwest Louisiana. That really hasn't changed all that much and not really going to be changing between now and then. And we did start to see it drifting its way towards the east a little bit. And that movement started at about 11 o'clock and going to continue to do so. Movement picking up a little bit now at about 13 miles an hour, so moving at an okay pace. As it continues to work its way northward, it's going to continue to push a lot of those impacts on shore. In fact, you've got tropical storm conditions already sitting down along the coastline. You've got a lot of that heavy weather working its way onto the coastline right now. And some of those squalls have been picking up there. Been keeping my eye on some of the observations out here and starting to get wind gusts that are picking up into the 50s out there. Down out over through, Cameron Pass area, even getting out to some of the locks through here, out over through the Vermilion-Cameron Parish border there. So wind gusts right now sitting at about 50. The sustained winds have probably been about 40, 45. I think I've seen a couple 47s out there. So it's on the way, and you're still quite a ways away from the center as well, which expanded a couple hours ago, expanded out that wind field, and that's why we're seeing so high storm surges and predicted storm surge numbers out there, particularly along Cameron Parish and getting out into parts of Vermilion Parish as well. A lot of showers out all across Acadiana. In fact, we've been keeping our eye on some of the traffic cameras. We could pull up one of the Doppler radars there, and we've got an image of what it looks like going down Ambassador Caffrey and Ridge right now. And there's plenty of traffic still out on the roadways. This is what it looks like. It's wet out there. You can see, things kind of blowing around. The breeze is starting to pick up a little bit as well. Of course, that is looking down Ambassador Caffrey from the Ambassador Caffrey and Ridge intersection. You've got power lines starting to sway a little bit. You can see the rainfall coming down and kind of working its way across the street there, being blown sideways a little bit by the wind. And we're just going to see conditions get worse as we go through the day. We are not really in the heart of it just yet. A lot of people out on the roads and don't see too many reasons to be out on the roadways right now either. And I would suggest that we start wrapping up any of those errands. I know we've still got several hours before we start to get into the thick of things, but this is about as good as it's going to get through the rest of the day, and it's just going to continue to get worse. Let's go back to the satellite imagery, talk about what we're seeing when it does come to the radar. You've got pretty good squall getting ready to move through Lafayette right now. Winds going to be increasing. You're going to want to look for these reds, particularly these darker reds. Tropical rain and tropical squalls kind of show up a little bit differently on the radar. When you take a look at the color palette here, typically when you see those big-time thunderstorms, those severe thunderstorms, you'll see the deep, dark reds, you'll see the whites popping up. You don't get that really with tropical weather. Everything's coming down just too fast. And so when you start to see these reds right here, usually an indication that you've got some pretty good wind along with it, that you're going to see some pretty heavy rains, and that's getting ready to roll through the Lafayette area right now, and pretty solidly the case when you take a look out over towards Cameron Parish between Grand Chenier and Cameron down there along the coastline. Heavy stuff is kicking up out over towards Lake Arthur. It's going to be some gusty winds right now. We're starting to see the tropical storm force winds kind of move northwards here and expand down across much of the area. And the wind field is going to continue to stay fairly large. When you look at the cone from now on, the cone really is just, it kind of hedges bets on where that thing could land. So as the cone shrinks, it's just we're becoming more certain where that center is. So we're going to send it on over to the LCG press